Okay, I'm back. I had to go and put a soup on, so and we're back to do our one page story today. Before I forget, I put up an ad right now that says if you bought or plan to buy Alphabet Book, the X page is now available on my Patreon. There's 7-day free access to my Patreon page. You can stick around with the Patreon, lots of extra stuff like original art and all that sort of jazz. But I thought I would put that up just for those that are picking up Alphabet Book and going, hey, no X. Well, there's your X. It's an extra page. So jump in, have some fun, take a look at that, and print it out for yourself, and then you have to trim it down a little bit to the right size of the book, and then you've got it for the inside of your book. Okay, good fun. All right, back to where we were. So I started drawing this page. There's a suggestion that I have been joking about since the start of doing these one-page stories with people. And it's called The Haunted Bow Tie. So I'm typing it in right now, and the suggestion has been this. Anyone who wears it kills. So, hello again, Linda. Hello again. So this is the suggestion here. And for the longest time, I've been saying, I can't do this one. It's too complicated. It's too complex. And I do things because I'm a silly person, and this is one of the ways that I am. So thank you for those of you that joined in at the last hour that I was streaming. But I needed to go upstairs and make a soup, so that's what I did. And so I got that soup started. So when Lori comes home from work, she get a nice. Hopefully, it tastes like a real soup. But all right, so let's keep on with this. So the first thing I've done is I've shown Jeff Goldblum wearing a bow tie, shushing people, and because how else would you start a page with Jeff Goldblum? So then I started drawing in this second page, second panel that has this other fellow here wearing a bow tie. Corbin is hopping up and down all over the place here, and that's where I left off. And so I'm just going to continue some of these lines and shapes, and just to keep this interesting, moving around. And then we'll get a little more of this red outline that I had going on here. Getting stuff done, getting a lot of things done. I got a few announcements to talk about. One Page Volume 2 is going to be ready. We're just waiting for the final parts of it and its permissions and all that stuff, and to announce its availability on Amazon under my authors page. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll be making that announcement soon of when it's available. So, hey, fantastic! How you doing, Gary? Welcome aboard, sir. Day job has kept me from seeing these lives in a while. Oh, well, I'm glad to have you aboard, sir. And I've been your cup of noodle episode of DBSM is fantastic. Anybody gets a chance, check out Gary's streams on is it Saturday or Sunday? I don't know. I catch them on Monday, so I can't. If you want to correct me on that, Gary, that'd be great. And then it says hiya. Okay, so this is a second panel here, the second dude with the bow tie. And, I'm thinking the operating joke here is that, you can see people wearing bow ties in all kinds of places. And the noodle one was on Saturday. Gary says he's still recovering. Careful with those cup of noodles, folks. They'll get you every time. So I'm hoping the sound is improved from the last few streams for people. I got everything reorganized here, so it's Lori helped me do that. And so the start of today's the start of today's page started off with a little response to this one. Just a sec, I'll pop it up on screen. So I did this Jeff Goldblum page recently, and it was Jeff Goldblum eating a donut was a suggestion, and I just had so much fun with his little movements. Yes, and oh, all these little things that he does. So I thought I'd just continue that on because, of course, he's wearing a bow tie in these pages. So I just thought I'd pop that over to another Goldblum image here, and that's where we got our start. So the idea of haunted bow tie, anyone who wears it kills, is pretty open, but it sort of allows us to explore some story points that we can pull together. I think that where I might go next. So I've got three different colors of pen, and a marker here, and a white Posca brush or paintbrush or paint marker, whatever the heck they're called. And so I think I'm going to do an angry face. Now, I talked about this in the last stream. The wonderful thing about working traditional and then jumping over to digital is that we can scan what we've done traditionally and then modify it and manipulate it. It's the scale of things and overlapping things and all kinds of fun little, different directions than the scale of what we're drawing at, or the order of how things are placed. So there's a real benefit to that. At the same time, I do like drawing pages straight on, like the Goldblum page I showed you earlier is just simple pencils scanned. There we go. So I think that what I want to do next is get into the sort of plot of the page, and that is anyone who wears this bow tie. Terrible, terrible, terrible things, folks. So I'm going to draw. I have both cats at my feet right now, and I can't move for fear of squishing cats. So I'm going to draw our next individual losing their marbles, and of course wearing the bow tie. So yeah, so that's my intention for this one, and I'm going to do similar to what I've done. Now I'm working on a perspective paper, and I'll zoom in for a second for people to see the surface that I'm working on. This is, you can see these lines all throughout here. So what this is an 11 by 17 sheet of paper that has pre-graphed perspective lines across the page for you to draw cityscapes or whatever it is. And then it's got some ink and some paint over top of it, just to shake it up a little bit. And so maybe I just leave the zoom on for drawing this part. And so that's the surface that I'm working on. And, I tend to work not so much in opposition of what's already down on the surface, but I'm not overly concerned about the surface that I'm drawing on top of. So, here we go. And I just want to draw a guy kind of angry and losing a plot to his novel there, and just having himself a bit of the old temper tantrum. I'm excited that StreamYard has moved up to 1080p, which is what allows me to come back here, because I couldn't really stream with it at 720 pixels. And so now that it's jumped up again to 1080, I'm very happy. And I can apply that to YouTube here again. I got I'm all set to roll here. I got my pen, I got some paper, and I got a crock pot of soup. What more can a domesticated monkey want? Hoping that, of course, my soup isn't terrible. So I'm just drawing. I'm trying to find all these points to exaggerate in the face, the crinkling in the nose. 1080p is free now, Gary. It is free now. Isn't that exciting? Gary has asked the magic question. Yeah, and I couldn't believe it myself. So check it out. You get to see all my wrinkles. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. It's hard, I want to interview people and show what they're doing, and I got like 780p to do that on. That was kind of, lame. So very excited. Okay, so here's our guy. Now, I had debated on doing, and I thought about this while I was making the soup. I had debated on in the center part of the page here, below where everything is, I wanted to just maybe draw a giant bow tie. Oh, the scary bow tie. I thought that perhaps it might come across better if the bow tie was being worn. Because from this point forward, I can draw crazy scenes of, people scaring and chasing and but all wearing bow ties. But before I can jump into that fact, I kind of want to establish for the viewer, the reader, these people in context to the bow tie, and so have that up front and center. So that's what my panel here is related to. And then we'll come back in a second. We'll do some accent points here, coming with that dark brown pen that I had, and as well as a. Sorry, I moved off panel there. The dark brown pen and the white paint marker, and we'll put some interesting values and shapes in here. Yeah, my challenge on the weekends is that I'm always doing so many things. So everybody that streams on the weekend, I don't get a chance to see people, and gotta try to catch them in the weekdays. And depending on what I got going on, it's always challenging to, these days we just get busy. And but I thought I'd just try this at a different approach today. Break it in half and come in a couple times just so I can take a moment there to do something and then come on back in. Maybe see some friends if we haven't seen otherwise, and stuff like that. I know what you're thinking. What's this guy thinking? You're thinking, where's my jelly beans? Where are my jelly beans? No, maybe not. So I've got a couple things coming up. 14th and 15th, 2 o'clock and 2:30. That's a Saturday and Sunday. I will be streaming live. I'm a featured guest at the London Comic Con this year, and great con. Going to have Bill Plimpton at it, and Kevin Eastman doing his last Canadian appearance. He's retiring, so this is if he comes near you, go see him, because if you ever want to see that guy that created the Turtles, this is it, because he's done at the end of this year. But we're going to be a featured guest, and I'm going to be doing some live streaming, one-page comics, and doing a little bit of tutorial jazz. Very exciting. It'll be cool company. Lots of good people at the show. I'm going to have some drawing battles at the show. I'll see if I can record any of these to put on the channel here. A lot of fun. I got a panel I'm in about indie comics, so that'll be fun. But just lots of things going on. And then One Page Extravaganza 2 is coming up. We'll be having that on Amazon very shortly. Just going through all the paperwork stuff now. So I'm just finding this guy's features and thinking about where shadows would work and things like that as I'm going through drawing his less than pleasant face. And you just if you look close enough, you can hear. Maybe that's not what's happening, but so the trick here is that I've got to have this the old bow tie, the old bow tie-iski there popping into this image. The haunted bow tie. So the funniest part of this whole notion is if the bow tie's haunted and whoever wears it kills, how does it get on different people? And that's the question that we want to answer in the course of this page. So, haunted bow tie. So here's our next character. So I'm going to come in. I've got a couple extra little tools here. I've got brown pen, red pen, and white marker. And for the backgrounds, I've been using the red pen to accentuate lines in the background, but in the foreground, I'm using the brown. Now, in the case of Goldblum, it's pulling out the dark values, as we've done here. Whoops, I missed it. I should get the front brim of that hat. There we go. And so now, as we've got our angry fella, we're going to come in first with these little pinches of white in order to start to pull up. So think of it in this way. The darker value is the recesses and the shadows. And the lighter value is the space, the pieces that are closer to you are more in direct light. So they get the glare of the light and things like that. So, and if you think about when you're doing those two contrasting values in your drawing, when you're adding those in, it tends to help, At least I find it does. So we're going to get some of these little key accent points. And then you can also take your thumb or your finger or a Q-tip or something like that. And if you put a mark down like this, okay, and then you just move it like that, your finger across the paint and drag it across, then you get this nice gradation that goes through there. A little bit of shading with minimal effort. So all right. So I'm trying to come in and find those points that would be higher up in the face, a bit more illuminated. And we're going to do the same thing in a second, but with the values that push things back, the shadows, the dark space in the mouth, etc., etc. There we go. You can almost hear him now. He's singing an opera about tapioca pudding or something. I'm not sure what he's on about, but. So it's tricky getting this sort of expression on a face without it looking like, you want it to be a specific thing. You want them to be angry, or you want them to be, you really want to push and exaggerate that facial expression without it becoming the misconstrued. So if you do this and you tilt the sides of the mouth wrong, it might look like he's laughing, or it might look like he's not as perturbed, not in such a with such a perturbant attitude as we wish to depict him with here. But the real big selling point that we want to get across isn't necessarily that he's just angry guy. We want to sell why. And so this is why the bow tie is here, the haunted bow tie. Anyone who wears it kills. So we really want to make a point of accentuating that. Now, I've already sort of established a visual language for that in the Goldblum panel that I did. So if I shimmy Cocoa Pop over here, I've done black bow tie so that it really pops out. So some of this detail here is going to disappear, but I really want it to pop out from the drawing around it. Who ate all the crackers? I'm not sure what he's mad about, but we'll just leave that to him. And sometimes people that are upset can't explain why. And you come across a crazy kid like this in an alleyway, you don't stick around to ask. So if you get a one-page story idea, suggestion, challenge, prompt, 3 words, piece of dialogue, whatever it is, put it in the chat, put it in the comments for the video, and I'll put it in the book, and we'll get it done. We are on number 243 for this year. Last year we did 358. So, we're on our merry old way. But thank you everybody that's been giving suggestions. And we've already got the first collection of one-page story extravaganza on Amazon. Number 2 is coming up. I'm going to be honest with you, it's next week. And Alphabet book is out as well. Little 78-page hardcovers for you folks. For all you yokes back home there. All right, so we've got this fella coming together fairly nicely. I'm going to use this red, okay, as, now usually I talk about the 3 principal values. You've got your dark, you've got your light, and you've got your intermediate. And that's a fun way for people to figure out how to break up a page in such a way as to make the language clear and simple as far as color goes, but at the same time, you can have all kinds of elaborate, fun information put across that way. And then of course we get into full color things or full black and white things. But even that black and white can include the intermediate, and even that color can include expressions of midpoint values between the hard black, the hard white. So it's just a matter of how you assemble those things. Oh, you're sleeping. Where baby? Oh, cats. So what I've got here though is I've added this red, which is sort of an intermediate between the intermediate and the dark. So just to give an opportunity to have a very dark area, but not the darkest emphasis point, which is what we want our bow tie to be. So I thought what I'd do in this case is put solid darks in for the folds, creases inside the bow tie. But like I said earlier, we want big contrast for that bow tie to pop. So I think that what I'll do is I'll cut across it Nice little hash line, like so. And I'll finish in the other part in just a sec. I just want to get these other pieces of detail around here before I smudge it too much, wearing over top of it. So here's our fella singing a song of his people. Oh, I read a long bunch of coconuts. I'm not sure what. He's probably just making sounds, which are the best sounds to make when one is angry. Unintelligible is always the way to go, folks. So I'm finding these emphasis points, nostrils, right? Key parts of the face, little push points. We want these little areas to be the spots on the face that we know go a little bit farther back than the others. Going over the opaque orange we put down for the eyes earlier. And let's make these eyes a little more expressive, a little more intense. Who ate the last cookie from the cookie jar? That could be what he's mad about. I'm not sure what he's mad at, but we know he's mad about something. Maybe it's Helen Hunt. Who knows? Thank you very much. That's a relevant joke for the kids these days. So we're just cutting his eyebrows in now. So by just picking spots, ideally, it should make that. It should be able to make those specific little areas, the eyebrows, the little crevices, and the folds of the face, things like that. We wanna emphasize those, because your brain, and the brain of whoever is viewing whatever projects that we're working on, they understand the human noggin, and they understand that what these little shapes here and there mean is, the ridges as we scrunch up our foreheads. And am I getting any here? None at all. But none that I could see anyway. But we know that they're there, and so when we see little accent points like that, we know that's what that means. So the other thing I got to do is this outline around this character's face. Now, I haven't decided yet whether or not I'm going to do something and modify the shouting face in the background and have some other panels in front of it. I've got some ideas about that. This referring to the thing I've spoken about in the last stream and in this one, about one of the things that is nice about working traditional and digital is that I can pick and choose and change the scale of things and push images a little farther for my storytelling. And I don't have to stay locked into this is the way the page is set up and this is the way I'm going to work. So I get to make those decisions along the way. But for now, one of the decisions I'm going to need to make is whether or not I put any value in behind this head. So here's our red peeking in here again. And it still sort of follows an operating rule of thumb of that being another value that's added into these drawings. Having red in the previous panel as the the darker line in the background images. So, okay, so here is our angry fella. So mad his hair came out. So let's see where we're at now. Come on, robot. Okay, so we've got 3 images across our page so far. We've got our Jeff Goldblum, about the haunted, as he's telling about the haunted bow tie. And I've left space around Goldblum so that I can have him say his little, yes, okay, well, bow ties, or whatever it is he's going to say. And we cut over to, you look in all kinds of places and you see different people wearing bow ties. But this bow tie makes people crazy. So, it's sort of setting us up for the next little bit in the story, where we can now have our character, why is he, like, what is he doing that he's so angry? Like, what is it he's doing while he's angry? Is he being destructive? Is he being public nuisance? I had to go and get blood taken, and this lady that was there was just carrying on to the staff that she had things to do and she was only going to be there this long. And you always wonder what's the bigger story for this lady. Like, what is going on that she's carrying on at these poor people that can't do anything to change the scheduling. So I kind of like to ask those stories of other people in public. So, all right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to draw another figure on the rampage, let's say. So I'm going to put him here in this place in the image. Okay, we're going to use all this space for that. Now, I've already established that this is not a page where I just draw from left to right and everything's ready to scan at once and there's your page ready to go. A lot of these pieces of information are going to be scanned and modified, like the size of scale shifted or things layered over top of things. And so I'm not too concerned about how this scale relates to that scale on the page. But what I am interested in the moment is that I get the entirety of the image that I want to put down in this space that I've said to myself is going to be enough for this drawing. And we're just going to have to make it be that. So I hope everybody's working on some fun stuff. I hope everybody's finding some fun creative exploration there for themselves. And if there's ever any questions that anybody has, Chris, what's the coolest color? Let me know, and I'll tell you. It's plaid. It's the color. Don't look that up. I don't know. See, I tend to enjoy all kinds of color. I think that, like, my favorite color for me is a drab green, but you don't see me drawing with drab green a lot. I just don't. And but I'll use a field of blues, or I'll use a field of like some cool colors, or I'll use some warm colors as I'm sketching in my book. And I've shown my sketchbook before, which is buried right now, where I'll use this different sort of range of values that are all within the same temperature palette, and I enjoy that a lot. But it's hard to say what's my favorite color, because I think I'm making choices in these scenarios that are more related to how those colors work with each other, so much more than this is the best color, if that makes any sense. Okay, so here's our guy with his crazy hair. I better zoom in. This is a little small. Boink. Okay, so here he is now. He's got his crazy hair. And let's have him ripping his shirt off. Because that's what the beefy guys do. Or so I've read. So, after One Page 2 comes out, around Christmas time, I'll be releasing the first one story book, like a single. It's one book with a single story to it. It's called Stream of Conceitedness, and that'll be what's next released in our court. So we're doing things quarterly from this point forward. So every 3 months will be a new book, and we've got a number of projects lined up and a number of things ready to roll, and having lots of fun. But it'll be back and forth between one-page extravaganza collections, the one-page stories that we do each day. This is number 244. Yeah, it's 244. And I had to look that up. I'm like, is that right? So it'll be back and forth between those and other projects. Like One Page number 1 came out, then Alphabet Book came out, and then One Page number 2 is coming out. Stream of Conceitedness will be out. And we're going to keep on this path. That is the intention. Until I'm kidnapped and held for some kind of ransom, probably jelly beans, and I'm unable to produce any more work. It's the jelly beans. They get you every time. So I've got this guy ripping his shirt off. Is the image that I'm trying to get across here. And he's having a day. He's having a tough day. His butt's popping too. That's always fun. I'm sure I'm not missing stuff here. If I miss a comment, I'll get back to read away. My many apologies. I will be there in a moment. First, I want to drink coffee. Well, it's not actually coffee, but it's a cup of lovely tea. Just get in the habit of saying coffee, or if that's all you drink is tea. But generally, I drink a coffee a day. Okay, so I'm trying to make sure I've got the supplied tension in the shirt. Oops, I'm sorry, that it's being ripped across there. And we're going to come in a moment and put in some accent points with the money volume. But we've got to make sure we get under this guy's his sleeves in the image. Make sure you get the rest of the outfit in here, so it makes sense overall. So I think I've been thinking about this a lot. I think I want to draw him kind of Kirby-esque, to be honest, where what I mean by that is his legs are in a very solid stance, and his kind of a pose, which is something that Kirby would use. But we'll see. It actually might just work to have him cut at the midsection here, because you still get the same thing across. that he's standing there with his legs moved out, spread apart, ripping his shirt open, singing to him, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts. I don't know what he's saying, but the idea is there. Okay, so a couple things. I want to put a couple little accent points in his face, and so let's get old Scrunchy Eyes Magoo going here. The expression, oh man. A little outline there. I think I want to put a pinch of white back down that chin to make give it a little more volume to it. So we're putting his hair in here, darker colored hair. Been watching a lot of the Aliens franchise, and all I can think of as I'm drawing this guy ripping his shirt open is some of the terrible stuff that you see in those movies. Scary, scary stuff. There's so many of those movies. I'm going to watch the Alien movies, and then the next thing you know, you fall down a rabbit hole and you watch 19 films. Not as well, that's more the Marvel thing, but still, it's a fair number of images put to screen there. So here he is pulling his shirt. Just wrecking this fella. There we go. So now I've got a lot of lines in here, as opposed to it just being open emphasis areas like this. That's because there's a lot of tension going on. I want to get that across. Tension. It's a tense moment. All right, so we've got this a good start to this. Let's come in before I continue on with this. Let's get this white in here, and we're going to pick and choose these little points in his face where the stress areas are raised. Bits of business that are in direct light. Got the forehead there. Okay, where are we at? All right, so I'm trying to get his hairy chest across here. Very sneaky thing I just did there with the white. Okay. So hopefully that adding that next aspect to it, the dark and the light contrast, gives it more dimension for people to understand who's what's where now. Well, also ideally it'll add that intensity a little bit. So there we go. So there's the bottom side of his shirt. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a delivery coming. That's it. We're wrapping up soon. I don't know that any of my neighbors would steal new size 15 shoes off the front porch. I don't know who that would actually be practical for. Tension in the pant legs there. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so we got 4 solid bits of image going on here. Here's this angry fella, and I think I'll draw another one around him as well. And just draw. So what I got to get in here, of course, is the bow tie, and so I've sort of left it for the end because I wanted to have him ripping his shirt off and leaving the bow tie on because for whatever reason I think that's funny. And so I'm just going to let this white dry for a second before I put his bow tie on his neck still. You just get these ideas as you're going. It's like, yeah, why not? We'll do that. But it's just going to be a bunch of angry people at this point, drawing themselves in different scenarios of, where they're terrible to others and killers. Oh, scary. And people get themselves in all kinds of trouble in all kinds of different ways. So there we go. There's the bow tie. I'll change that placement in that. Let that dry for a second. All right, so there's our first upset fella. And let's see if that's good. Yeah, we're good. So just because I want that line to come in a little more. There we go. So here's our next person who's acquired the haunted bow tie. So at this point, the remainder of the images you're going to be drawing is an accounting of terrible things happening. But, you get the gist of where we're going with this. Anyways, so here's a fun way to approach it. If you've got a base color, I'm just going to use this yellow marker to represent the base yellow paint on this page. And you want to apply, using a slight color shift for your principal drawing line. In this case, it's an orange. It might appear a little orange-red in the camera, I'm not sure. And then look for a too heavy contrast to it. Now, the brown fits in the same sort of range, right? And then the white is, of course, the complete opposite end of that said range. So allowing yourself to work with these values like this gives you an interesting limitation, but at the same time, it gives you an interesting opportunity to explore how far you can take these images now. And the red would sit right about there. Okay, well, that's about it for me again today. I think just because I got to get some more things done and so on and so forth. Later on today on Patreon, I will be posting tomorrow's one-page story read-along. And then tomorrow on YouTube, that'll come up there. I'm trying to think of what else. we got coming up this weekend. I'll be posting another time lapse and all kinds of stuff. But I hope people are enjoying the new video content. We have some more tutorials lined up, things like that. But I hope people are enjoying this new approach to content. And Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:00 is when we do our live streams here, except for September 14th and 15th, which are going to be 2:30 and 2:00 during the London Comic Con. Okay, thanks very much, everybody that's come and hung out. I appreciate it very much. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday, or possibly this weekend. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, get out there, get creative. Bye for now.